during Aqua's part, when he had the slipper, Aqua's like, can I try it on? But is it good or bad that we didn't see her feet? It's a demerit for me. The T's feet did not show feet. Aqua's feet. Everyone in Kingdom Hearts, I want to see her feet, even more than Mickey's.
I'm gonna let the audience here imagine a meme, and the meme is society if we got to see Aqua's feet in Birth by Sleep.
I know. So this is like, I think, the most iconic world in Kingdom Hearts, at least to fans. Hollow Bastion / Radiant Garden. And we are counting it Hollow Bastion from 1, too. I just put it here because it's better and more popular in 2. You get there, and guess who's there? The Beast.
Time to go beast mode.
Talking to Riku. And Riku's like, get the out of here. How'd you even get here, weirdo? And Beast is like, you got Belle. You got my bitch. You're done. And then Riku kicks his ass, which I think is a little OP, but whatever.
I think in that world in like Kingdom Hearts 1, the story is like 11 out of 10. It's a better end world than End of the World.
I know, right? I'm surprised it wasn't. I mean, that's a Final Fantasy thing of the best world is a world right before the last world. So that's just keeping to the Final Fantasy staple. So like, yeah, you get the Beast stuff, Riku stuff. The world is pretty cool. In terms of like level design and stuff, it's very aesthetically good looking world, unlike a lot of the other worlds were like blocky, but this one it literally had blocks, but it did feel like a castle, like organic. And both Maleficent fights,
I maybe am still convinced that the dragon was like the hardest fight in that game. That really tripped me up when I was a kid.
Hardest main villain fight probably. All the Ansem stuff just comes right out.
Yeah.
The iconic Sora versus Zeuku, Antsuku fight, whatever.
There's no way you're taking Kairi's heart.
But replay that 18 times at least. At first. Once you get better at the game and start learning more mechanics, it comes easier, but still no slouch. So that happens, and all the stuff of you're never taking Kairi's heart. Kairi's inside me. Goofy, my boy Goofy stepping up for Sora, and then Donald, the little bitch Beta's like, oh, me too, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my god, you get to play as a Heartless?
Oh, yo, that's pretty cool.
That was wild.
And then Roxas and Nominator Born.
Yeah.
Gotta count that too.
That is like, in that game, it's like the ultimate culmination of everything in the story.
Pretty much, like it's the peak of the story, in my opinion. Would the game be any lesser if End of the World didn't happen? I know it's important for like lore stuff, but I mean, like if everything in End of the World happened in Hollow Bastion,
you kind of just tying up loose ends there, because there's that moment where at the end of Hollow Bastion where you hop into like the keyhole and you have to fight the behemoth. And you could just sub that out for like, oh, you hopped in and somehow you ended up at like fighting Ansem.
You could have ended up in a realm of darkness. That's what the portal was for, right? Or no, it was a keyhole, but whatever.
Like, yeah, you could do something like that and it would have been fine.
And in 2, do we even need to say anything? Do we even need to say anything about how fucking good it is in 2? All like 3 times you go there, it never misses.
It's always a banger.
1 is a new Traverse Town where all the Final Fantasy characters come, because that's where they're from. That's just Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. You go back and there's just a fucking ninja war going on between the good guys, the Heartless, and the nobodies. Goofy dies
and Mickey throws off his coat like dramatically.
Like I'm serious now. All right, y'all are gonna die. I'm gonna kill Xemnas. I see him. 1,000 Heartless fight, like top 10 Kingdom Hearts moments ever.
Yeah, you get that information about like who Xehanort is, and like I think there's that moment where Xemnas like pulls up to like the battlefield, like and that's when you kind of is revealed that he's like the big bad.
He's on the top of the cliff and Mickey sees him. It's a lore dump, but it's like a good one, because unlike Mysterious Tower, there's stuff to do to reveal the lore. It's not just an old guy in a chair talking at us. Like the Door to Darkness, Ansem, Xehanort, the reveal of who Ansem really was, the data stuff, which becomes super important later, and then becomes Radiant Garden. Pretty unique because it just like in BBS, we don't go there in 3, right? No, we don't. Well, we see it, but we don't actually go there.
Yeah.
Go there. Like Riku's there, Demyx and Vexen are there. It's like the side characters hub town almost. If you think about it.
And then you just use it to fight the boss, the data fights.
Yeah.
Remind, but
it's pretty much the best world in Birth by Sleep, in my opinion. Because again, it's one of the biggest, it's one of the most fun to explore for all 3 of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of story there too. that's where they all like link up again. I think maybe for the first time.
First and last. Oh,
remember.
until the Kiwi Wave where they all die.
Yeah.
It's where they all, they don't end happily, but it's where they come together like, hey, shit's cool. And then
Narrator, shit was not cool.
yeah, and like Terra's like, hey Aqua, you suck. You're being a teacher's pet. Fuck you. And then Benta's like, yeah, fuck you too, Aqua. And then and Aqua's like, what the fuck did I do? Why does everyone hate Aqua now?
And that's where we fight or meet Bragg. And you're like, oh, he's just a regular guy.
And him and Xehanort know each other somehow. We also meet Isa and Lee.
Yeah, well, yeah, you meet like all the organization guys.
Well, all the OGs.
A lot of them.
I mean, I don't think we even need to discuss any further.
No, it's very cool.
From the beginning, it was like destined in the stars to be S.
Yeah, like the only real knock on it, like, yeah, some of the stuff gets a little confusing moving around in 1. It's not the worst version of that in that game. Mm-hmm. It gets better in every other game.
It's one of the best. It's the best world in 1. So like,
yeah,
it has to be the best because like we only have Olympus Coliseum. That's mostly because of 2 and 3.
And that scene in 2 where you go down the winding path and you have like a fight with each of the Final Fantasy guys, like teaming up with them.
Oh yeah,
is like crazy.
Top tier. So yeah, I mean, obvious. I don't even know I need to say anything. Yeah. Hollow Bastion, Radiant Garden, try to get better than that. It can't. Next is Land of Dragons. One of the most mid, but it's one of the most mid, but I kind of like it the best. Out of all of them, I kind of like it one of the best. I don't know why.
It's a good starter Disney World.
Really, really mid in terms of like level design. Mulan's pretty cool as an assistant. The bosses are kind of meh with Shensu and the fucking dragon. Fuck that dragon. Not Eddie Murphy Mushu is pretty cringe.
You have a weird hooded guy that I think is maybe Zigbar or maybe is Riku.
It's Riku because he had Riku's sword.
Oh right, yeah.
But even that, just like it was like a tip of like story stuff. But Land of Dragons isn't really that story focused of the overall story. Shit. Didn't he play in D?
Yeah, I mean it's not like that confusing of a world to get through.
And Sword gets punched. He gets his teeth knocked out.
Oh yeah.
I think that counts for something. It is a good starter world because it's not that hard. It's not that hard to navigate.
Because like when you think of it versus like Wonderland, like it washes.
Like, okay, it's not as bad as Wonderland, but it's nowhere near fucking Olympus Coliseum if you count that as the first world. Okay, we play in C.
Yeah.
Pretty mid. Like literally just like middle of the road. Okay. Like again, great starting out, but there's so much better stuff ahead of it.
Yeah, it's nothing special, but it's not bad. It's just kind of whatever.
Again, Mulan's pretty cool. Nothing more to say. But we go to Beast Castle next. Oh my fucking god, Beast Castle is so sick. Why is it so sick? Like, literally, why? It didn't have to be that good. It's the perfect blend of anime and Disney because of the Zoldan stuff. Like, it wasn't just, like, Gaston as a villain. Like, fucking Zoldan. Number 3 in organization was causing menace there. And it was like, they wanted to turn Beast into a Heartless to get his nobody. Nothing like that has ever happened again in that series.
Especially because it's like a Disney character trying to do that
exactly,
shit too.
But Beast is that goddamn of a Giga Chad that are like, we need this guy's nobody. And maybe Heartless too, who knows.
Yeah, and the fact that like Zoldan is like whispering in his ear trying to be like, hey, you gotta do this shit.
You wanna go nuts? You wanna go ape shit? Fuck Belle, fuck that Rose, you can just kill everybody, right? Again, it's one of the more mature ones, because Beast locked the guys in the basement so he wouldn't kill them. That's pretty dark. And both boss fights. Do you think that boss fight in the first time was Beast Heartless?
Oh, the like Dark Thorn thing?
Yeah.
I don't think no.
It's weird because Heartless are kind of weird because like you could be your own Heartless, but your Heartless can also be something else. Because at least in Kingdom Hearts 1 rules. Because I think like say Clayton, that chameleon was his Heartless.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, yeah, it's not you as a Heartless, but it's like in the way that like Sora kind of has like the dark side that pops up, or like his shadow clone thing that Riku creates.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah, I guess it is like supposed to be representative of Beast.
That's pure headcanon, but I think it makes it a little bit better. And the world actually like really fun to explore with all the hallways and the back rooms. You gotta work with Mrs. Potts and Lumiere to open that gate, which I think is pretty cool, like Disney interaction.
Yeah, it has good Disney interaction. I do get confused between the East Wing and the West Wing all the time. Especially when you have to come back and you're trying to like find specific stuff.
Learn a compass, motherfucker. I can play this game blindfolded. I'm going to later. Won't catch me slipping.
I just can't remember which side Bell is on, which side Beast is on. I never can.
I'm teetering between S and A.
I don't think it does enough for the overall story to put it in S.
True. It has like a little bit more than usual, but yeah, you're right. It's not like
Yeah.
top tier like lore dump or whatever.
I do think it's in a unique position, like coming from 1 to 2. Like in Kingdom Hearts 1, you come across Beast, but you're in Hollow Bastion, and like Sora becomes pretty close with him because he gets abandoned by all his other friends, so they're pretty tight. So then in Kingdom Hearts 2, you get to go back to Beast's world because his world has been like rebuilt now. So it's like cool to pull up there and see like, oh, what has he been up to? And then he kind of is like an asshole, but it's like
He tries to kill you.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for fucking Cogsworth, he would have.
Yeah. So it's like interesting how they were able to do that.
Yeah. So A, I agree with A. Next is Disney Castle. Just Disney Castle, not Timeless River, because that's different.
But including Disney Town, right?
No, it's different.
No? Oh, that's different too. Okay.
Yeah. I think Disney Castle, I think it's a fun world. Like, it's one of the most, again, Disney fun feeling worlds, especially with MICKUIMOUSE.
Oh yeah, the music slaps.
We saw it a little bit in 1 when Don and Goofy leave for Traverse Town.
Yeah, those are pretty fun scenes. Like where Goofy's asleep.
And like you get a lot more into like the kind of King Mickey Don Goofy world because like they're coming with you to different worlds, but we never got a lot of their world. I think it's really interesting to go in. You go in there, it's like very colorful, very Disney looking. You fight with Queen Minnie. You clear out a whole hallway and throne room. Was there only one chair in that room?
Oh, I don't know.
I think there was. Because, like, I guess King Mickey's just fuck you, Minnie. Or maybe it's Minnie's throne.
It could be her throne.
Well, because, like, Mickey's fucking never there. So, like, he doesn't need a throne.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe it's like a reverse chess situation where the queen sits still and the king moves all around and does.
I'll take your word for it. I don't play chess. I play Kingdom Hearts. The smarter game. Like, come on.
5D chess.
Yeah.
I do really like the vibe that those cutscenes give off in Kingdom Hearts 1. Where it sets up like Donald and Goofy, and it's like, oh, King Mickey is missing, but he like left them a letter. It really builds like a lot of mystery in a really cool way.
Yeah, I'll put it B. I think.
Yeah, I think that's
we can't really knock anything against it. Like,
no,
we can say it's not a lot to do, but again, it leads into a whole better world. So
yeah, it's really cool for what it is.
Throw it in B right there. But now we get to what it leads to. Timeless fucking River. Honestly, one of the best. This is the best level in Kingdom Hearts 2. Just for how fun and unique it is. Because who would have expected we go to timeless, like to black and white times? Because like, of course, there's a Disney movie coming out. Put that Disney movie in. Gotta get one of the Renaissance in there. But the freaking 1930s Steamboat Willie shit. That's like so cool.
Yeah, they incorporate that in a really interesting way. That's fun.
And with like the style and like especially like how Sora looks, where it's like that perfect blend of like what he would have looked like pretty much back then. And you get Mickey lore. How often do we get Mickey lore?
Yeah, not very often. And then you have like the whole thing with Pete where you run into Pete and they're ready to throw hands and he's like, who are you people? Like I haven't done any, I don't know what's going on. And then present day Pete shows up and then they fight each other.
It's like Pete's swan song. Because after that we don't see a lot of Pete. And then Pete kind of drops off. But that's like Pete's peak.
Yeah, it's the peak.
Yeah, because like time travel is introduced in not, I don't know. There has to be my theory is that's how time travel in Disney worlds work. Between more like Disney Island Traverse Town worlds, that's how I believe it works. Or maybe it's you need that door to go at that specific period. Because if you notice with like time travel, it's like 10 minutes, an hour in the past or future. Well, we don't know how old this world is, but that's like very far back. That's just my headcanon to really explain it. The different like battles that are really interesting, like the town, the fire,
oh yeah, that's a really cool moment.
It's kind of like End of the World, those different rooms, but it's not just a mob rush. There's like obstacles in the way to make it more engaging and fun. And then Pete uses all of those in the end when you fight him.
Yeah, it's a really cool like connection to it all.
Mm-hmm. So like obvious S. Come on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, like, can you make it? Make it better right now. Make it better.
Oh, like improve it?
Improve it.
I mean, it just... I don't know, man. Those cars really kicked my ass.
That's your
in that
fault.
Fight.
Get good.
But
You can't blame the world because you suck.
I can and I will. But no, yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, you know, I love the cutscenes where Sora shakes Mickey's hand
Oh, yeah.
after like each one of those fights. Yeah, those are pretty good.
And like it's cool that it kind of incorporated that like into like the actual lore of the story instead of just like it's its own weird world. No, it's actual the past. This is Mickey the way he was.
Yeah, well, yeah, because the whole reason you have to go back is because the Cornerstone of Light was affected, so you have to go back in time to like prevent that from happening.
Because Pete went back in time somehow. I don't know. No, Pete unlocked the power of waking at that moment and summoned the door. Merlin has a power of waking and summoned the door.
I think that's true. I think that's what happened.
We're right. Who cares? All right.
One of these will be right eventually.
So, Port Royal / Caribbean. In my opinion, the best world in Kingdom Hearts 3.
It's beautiful. It looks like insane.
I know. Like, so okay, let's start with Port Royal. One of the most unique worlds in the series, period. Because it's live action. I am so surprised they got away with putting Pirates of the Caribbean in a Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people clown on it, but like, it comes across well enough.
Yeah, it's like they mention how kind of jarring it is, but it's not like so weird with Donald and Goofy because at least they make Donald and Goofy look like realistic. Like they kind of do it more in 3, where they kind of give them a different kind of shade, but it still look like Donald and Goofy in Sora.
Yeah, it looks good.
The fight with Barbossa, honestly, one of the better like swordsman fight in the game.
Yeah, the mechanic of like having to have like the coins in the moon is like really cool. It's like really unique to that world. It really makes it feel like its own thing.
That level where pirates invade the ship and you gotta keep that coin on you. If you get hit, they take it. Fuck that level. I got stuck in it so many times. Whenever I got to that world and kept dying, I started over to get better. And then when I finally found out Wisdom Form was a thing, I wiped it. But still, one of the only sour spots in Kingdom Hearts 2 in my heart is that level.
Yeah.
But then Kingdom Hearts 3 makes it Black Flag. Like, I think most of Kingdom Hearts development time was for this world.
Probably.
It's so big.
It is.
There's stuff to do, too. Like, when I was looking for the emblems, there were so many islands you can find emblems on.
Oh yeah, because you like can hop out and go to those islands and fight Heartless and stuff. It's not just like drive the ship around. Like you can go out and do stuff and get treasures and stuff.
The ship has battle mechanics that are actually like pretty good. You race Zaldin. Even the story of like Dead Man's Chest, it was pretty well incorporated. Sora kills people on a ship, and he punches Davy Jones and like that's one of the only times where like murder happens in Kingdom Hearts, where he kills Orlando Bloom.
Yeah. And
they did get a better Johnny Depp person in the 3rd game. It actually sounds like Jack Sparrow.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what was going on in 2 where it's like, he sounds like Voldemort.
Oh, yeah.
They really flexed the graphics of like, it looked like a PS4, like, and a PS4 level game of like the realistic face models.
Yeah, like Davy Jones looked like he was from the movie.
He didn't sound like it, but he looked like it.
But they look so clean. And it's like they don't even look like that in other worlds in that game. It's like
I know, right? They made their texture more like realistic. Davy Jones was kind of a meh fight in my opinion, especially on Critical where he's kind of annoying. So I think A is appropriate. It would be if Port Royal was a B. I think 3 really adds it up to how good it is. It's not perfect. It's not S tier. It's close to it, but not there. I'll admit that. All right, so we have one of the weirdest ones. Space Paranoids / The Grid.
Yeah.
Okay, Space Paranoids, goated. The Grid.
Weird. They kind of try to do the Winnie the Pooh thing.
Okay. For now, let's stick to Space Paranoids for now.
Yeah.
So yes, Winnie the Pooh thing it's kind of its own fiction within the world, but it's made up. Well, kind of. It's a copy of the original Tron game, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. So it's not the movie Tron, it's like a copy paste of the movie Tron. I don't think anyone under the age of fucking 60 has seen the original Tron.
I haven't.
Yeah, you kind of get a good representation of it through this game, I feel. Of like the digital world, master control. It doesn't feel corny like a movie about computers made in the 60s or 70s or 80s would be.
No, and I think it works well for the game because it just kind of like, what a generic technical garbage, and it doesn't really matter what's like happening, which is fine for the game because it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and Tron's like a pal. Tron's like a bro.
Yeah, because the like MCP and all that are like trying to kill all the users, and Tron is like, hey, I don't know, man, but you're a user and you should be pretty cool, so I'm rocking with you.
But then it leaks out into Hollow Bastion, so it becomes like actually like story relevant.
Yeah, that's a really cool moment. Or like when like the security system like turns on you and tries to kill you.
Yeah, and like the data, like more data stuff that comes in later. Do you think Tron has a heart?
Probably.
I think he does.
Yeah.
Because we know things with data can have hearts. That's how Repliku is a thing. So that's cool. And then there's Space Paranoids. I think in my opinion is A. But then then they put in the grid, which I am still gonna count. The grid is like the most. It's what Pirates of the Caribbean avoided, being weirdly uncanny valley.
Yeah, it feels like it takes itself too seriously for what like it is.
I think less people have seen Tron Legacy than the actual Tron, because I had no idea what was going on. I knew that was Jeff Bridges, and Jeff Bridges in the Kingdom Hearts game, that's kind of cool. What really got me about that world is the Rinsler thing. Like, Rinsler is Tron, but Sora, that's not the Tron you know. Because I think this is the original version of the Tron world, and what we went to in 2 was the copy.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Sora should know this. He's kind of dumb, but it's also like that Tron knows him, so maybe it's that heart connected thing. I don't know. It's definitely the worst world in 3D.
Yeah, probably, yeah. It's just not super memorable.
Not at all. It's so weird to go through. And like leveling's kind of cool, but it's like I don't care about this world at all. It makes it feel worse because Space Paranoids was so cool to go through.
Yeah, because like the thing with Space Paranoids and with Port Royal, because Port Royal also has like the live action element. It also has that goofy element of like the whole coins thing and like the pirates turn to skeletons that makes it kind of still like fantasy element.
And you still acknowledge that it's kind of weird.
And then like with Space Paranoids, it's like still kind of like weird sci-fi fantasy stuff. But then with the grid, it feels like too like gritty realistic.
Yeah.
That it's like clashes with the game, especially that game, because it's all about like going into your dreams and like whatnot, and then the grid is like robotic, like stiff kind of deal.
This is so hard because like they're so different and they're so polar opposite. I'll put the grid in like D, but I would put Space Paranoids in A. I think put in B just because of Space Paranoids.
Yeah, because Space Paranoids is pretty memorable.
Mm-hmm.
I think Space Paranoids like average. I think it averages out better than the ones in C.
True. Oh yeah, now C was in C, definitely. All right, Pride Lands, pretty good. Like
I fucks with it.
Again, it also did what Atlantica failed to do: bring in a new mechanic in terms of like Sora's body and not have it be terrible. Have it be fun and engaging. Give you new moves. Have you move faster. Have you just be more energetic. It's not fucking swimming up and down and forward.
There's not really much like different in terms of like how you don't have to really adapt to it at all. You can kind of just move around with it, and it's pretty cool.
Let's see. Pete's there as Big Lion Cat, which he is a cat, so that's appropriate.
Yeah, it works.
The relationship between Sora and Simba feels really organic.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, the summons in 1 count, but not in 2 or 3, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool in the same way that, like, you know, like with Beast Castle, it's like, oh, you're visiting, like, your old friend at his world
But
now.
Beast wasn't a summon.
But you still, like, knew him from, like, Hollow Bastion. And then, like, Pride Lands, you're like, oh, I was rocking with you, I guess. It is weird, though, yeah, because he was a summon.
Like, especially if you never summoned Simba or Mushu. Because Mushu does the same thing.
Yeah, oh, yeah. So it's like, I don't know how that how that fits into the lore, I guess.
Yeah, most summons are kind of an outside mechanic anyway. Who cares? The Scar boss fight is cool. That last boss fight, the second time you go, is pretty fun. That big kaiju thing, like that's one of the most that's a good example of a big boss. Unlike the dragon in Land of Dragons, because it's a scale. There's a lot to do with it. There's a lot of different things to do with it.
And you got a big space to maneuver.
Exactly. Oh, that's key. I think B. Like, there's nothing about it that makes it like A tier, but like it's a really fun world to be in. Like I look forward to it every time. Another iconic place.
Oh man.
The world that maybe never could have been was L plus doesn't exist. L plus no heart plus no body plus Keyblade plus no memories
plus not real
plus no emotions, plus no friends. Anyway, oh my god, this makes End of the World look like Wonderland in terms of end worlds.
Oh my god, it is. It is so good.
It's a good example of a final world because there's stakes, there's ties to. It's like where we were supposed to go. It has this very dark feeling, especially like under the castle, where it's like a town, like a dark town.
Yes, so cool.
Of course, you fight Roxas in this place. Pretty much all the best boss fights in 2 are in this place, except Luxord, whatever. I mean, in terms of like story, what happens in this world, all the Riku stuff, all the Kairi stuff, all the Roxas stuff, all the Xemnas stuff, the final gauntlet of Sora cutting through fucking buildings on anime bullshit, teaming up with Riku, blowing up shit, killing a fucking sky dragon.
You get it set up at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, the post-credit scene or whatever, the bonus cutscene of like Roxas in the rain and
Thing
all
is,
that.
I never got that. I played 2 before 1, so I didn't know about that. But it does add. It does add to it. Makes it better.
Yeah, that's like a cool like mystery of like what the hell is happening here.
And it's also fun to play too. But like, the story stuff is just so immense and like, again, like you said, Hollow Bastion 1 felt like what End of the World should have been, where all the lore stuff gets explained, all the important stuff happens. It's like if we had another world after World That Never Was, that was just like a gauntlet and a boss fight.
Yeah, it's like if all that stuff where you do all the organization members was like a second world.
With the final battle with Riku, the final gauntlet of Riku, the like dragon stuff, and then defeating No Heart wearing Xemnas, and then defeating full Xemnas, and then it comes back in 3D, which is kind of it serves the same purpose essentially. Where it's a lore dump, the final world, lots of good boss fights, lots of good terrain and level design, and like Ansem blows himself up. Now that's pretty funny to watch, honestly, with Mickey just staring at him with his cold eyes.
Yeah, Mickey hits him with the stop saw.
Oh yeah, and because I forgot that whole throne room scene in 3D, and then you fight young Xehanort, not as mysterious stranger, thank fucking god.
Isn't that where you find out about like the real Organization 13?
Yeah,
and, like, the new build. So like that's pretty cool. That's like a big like holy shit. Like
that's like oh. I mean, again, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yes.
A lot of these are more obvious than others. Like anything that's like that big, important in scale, I kind of an auto S.
That one and Twilight Town are both maybe the strongest aesthetic like original worlds.
100%.
They lean into it so well and it works so much.
Yeah, it's a perfect blend because it feels Final Fantasy, but not too anime to where it kind of distracts from like the Kingdom Hearts. Because Kingdom Hearts is like the perfect blend between the anime style and the Disney style. And those two worlds are perfect examples. It doesn't go too ridiculously anime because it still feels like cartoonish and like pleasant. And like they're kind of polar opposites because like Twilight Town's a very warm, feeling wholesome place where like there's camaraderie and friendship, but then World Never Was feels really empty and barren and depressing, kind of like Roxas's two sides if you think about it.
And I also really love like, and it's like kind of a small moment in 2, but that whole like Roxas is like leaving and he's like gonna quit the organization, and Axel's like, no, like they're gonna kill you, man. Like the emotion in that world is just off the charts.
I know. All right, land departure. We can do this quick. We go there in BBS and 3 barely just to do it's important story stuff. Yes. Do you think it is Scala Kylum or like just like based on Scala Kylum? Like is it the same planet essentially?
I don't think so.
It might be.
It might be.
Because, like, we know Daybreak Town is on Skylight Kylum, but Xehanort took us to the past for Skylight Kylum. And, like, I don't know if because he destroys Skylight Kylum pretty much during his boss fight in 3. I don't know if that's canon to Skylight Kylum. It might be how time travel works. We don't really know. Well, no, time travel does work because the stuff young Xehanort does still affects the future. So I think that does still count.
Yeah, because it has to have the same, like, outcome, though, right?
Yeah. So him destroying Skylight Kylum did happen in the timeline.
If that's Scala and Kylum, that would mean that Castle Oblivion is also that.
Castle Oblivion is just land departure messed up. Would that make more sense where Sora, Donald, Goofy were? They were just in the place where Skylight Kylum was? Like, that's the quote-unquote human world?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
It could work.
Yeah, it could work. I'm not mad at it.
Putting stuff together.
Yeah.
But in terms of just land departure, we go there, we fight, we do the tutorial, Pretty cool to establish the trios and Eric's relationship. Go back as Terra and fight slash. Well, he doesn't kill Ericus. Xehanort does that. And Xehanort destroys Land Departure. Oh, kinda. No, wait. So he destroys Land Departure, and then Aqua turns into Castle Oblivion, and then it fixes.
Yeah, I think it's just in like a pretty bad state, and I think she just kind of like locks it up and like puts like a protect spell on it.
I'd say put it in C. Out of all the like lore world, it's kind of like the least developed.
Yeah, it's a lot like Destiny Islands in that sort of sense. You're not there for very long. Like you're there for, I feel like, even less time. You just kind of knock it out. It does have a lot of interesting lore implications. Because again, up until this point, our Keyblade wielder has been Sora and Roxas, who exists through Sora.
And Riku.
And Riku.
And Kairi. And Mickey.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like we get outside people being Keyblade. Like it's not just within this group of people.
Yeah. Well, you get outside people, but you get like a system of like a lineage. Like you get like they have a master that's like directly training them. Like with all the other people, it seemed like they just kind of were chosen. Like they just kind of happened to have it and they were kind of there, whatever. But with these guys, it's like, oh, they have a master who's training them to become Keyblade masters. And then like it feels like there's a lineage with it, especially when like Xehanort shows up and it's like, okay, he's like on the same level as Ericus. And there's also a third chair there, whoever that's for.
Yensid.
Probably, yeah.
He doesn't like that chair. He likes his chair.
Yeah, he likes his chair.
That's why he never gets off of it except for this one time where everyone dies.
Yeah.
We don't like Yensid here.
No. And yeah, it has interesting implications, but you're just not there very much.
So a lot of these you can kind of rush through pretty quick because they're not that important. BBS is kind of the worlds of BBS are kind of the weakest part because we have like Enchanted Dominion. That's pretty important for the Maleficent stuff, honestly, just to establish Maleficent and like her goals and like what she wants and her relationship with Xehanort, kinda.
Yeah, it's a pretty big world too.
True, and there's a Dragon Balls fight with Aqua.
And I think the Terra stuff works pretty well in this one because he just kind of comes across like Maleficent, and she kind of is like, "Oh yeah, I'm cool."
Well, it's the most organic because she talks about Xehanort, and he trusts Xehanort. So
yeah.
Out of all the villains he trusts, he has the most reasons to trust her, and then she betrays that trust. So he's not dumb in that instance. So we can give him a pass on that.
Yeah, and it sets up nicely for like when Ventus gets there. And they're like, oh, Terra did this. And he's like, oh, what? Why would he do that? But then when you play it from Terra's perspective, you're like, okay, this kind of makes sense.
Okay, there's one line that's really, 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 really weird. I don't think ever gets explained. I think Xehanort is talking to Braig, and they're talking about how Maleficent manipulated Terra into taking Sleeping Beauty's heart, right? And then Xehanort's like, did he take it? And then Braig's like, wait, he didn't take her heart, did he? So is he possessed by some... I don't know what they're implying there.
Maybe the whole thing was like a Riku scenario where Riku slowly gets more possessed over the time of like...
So you think Xehanort was like influencing him?
He could have been.
So I think it's definitely the most story appropriate in the whole game.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So I say B.
I'd say B.
Because spoiler, I don't think there's an exclusive A level in BBS. In my opinion. Well, the highest is Radiant Garden, and that's an S right now, but that's only adds to 1 and 2. Because like we have Castle of Dreams.
Not much really happens there.
It's cool for establishing their Well, the Ventus part is just awful.
Oh my god, yeah, with the mice and shit, yeah.
Yeah, when he's small. He's the only one who's small for some reason. The Terra Aqua stuff is pretty cool because that's one of their first exchanges, and because Terra the Sleeping Beauty thing just happened, so we're leaning towards him being bad or leaning towards bad. But then it kind of leads to him showing he has a better side when he's protecting Cinderella.
Yeah,
and like leads her to the ball.
Yeah, it sort of gives the opportunity, whereas like, you know, like we were talking about with Riku and Monstro, where he's just kind of being a shithead, but you know, he doesn't seem fully outright evil. Yeah. It kind of like gets to show that sort of, but from Terra's perspective, where it's like, okay, he fucked up, he did something bad, but he was kind of influenced into it. Now he's trying to do something good. Like maybe he's not awful.
Yeah, and during Aqua's part, when he had the slipper, Aqua's like, can I try it on? But is it good or bad that we didn't see her feet? It's a demerit for me. They teased feet, did not show feet. Aqua's feet. Everyone in Kingdom Hearts, I want to see her feet, even more than Mickey's. But they teased it, didn't give it to me.
I'm going to let the audience here imagine a meme, and the meme is society if we got to see Aqua's feet in Birth by Sleep.
No, now I got to make that meme.
And then it's that image.
I'd say it's C.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it would be, if we saw Aqua's feet, S, but, you know.
It just kind of, nothing happens.
Unlike what Cinderella says, dreams don't always come true. Dwarf Woodlands, pretty boring.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you much that happens.
It's like worse Enchanted Dominion, because Terra doesn't even do anything. He's tempted to just murder a 14-year-old, but he does not. Do we see the witch die in, I think it's Ventus's part, right? I don't think we see her die.
I don't think so.
Okay, the fact that we can't remember anything from this world.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you anything. I know
Like,
that they go to the mines, but...
Yeah, it's not Atlantica bad, but it's so forgettable that...
Yeah, no, because it's not like impossible. It's not like annoying to move through the world, but it's just like, I couldn't tell you what happens there.
Exactly.
Those 3 worlds are kind of like, let's just get through this.
Oh, I mean, we at least established... We talked about the first 2 and how that kind of applies to the story. Dwarf Woodlands is nothing. It's just there because we need that Disney princess cred.
No, yeah, all 3 of those worlds kind of do the same thing on a base level. They just kind of do it to a different degree.
Yeah, and establish that OG Disney type thing, like how they want to have Jungle Book or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So next is Deep Space. I think is a really fun world, especially with Stitch.
Yeah,
like Stitch
is
adds
great.
so much to that world. The boss fights are actually really fun. What experiment is that? 624 maybe? I don't know. The electric one. That was a pretty annoying boss fight. Terra has the worst boss fights because they all rely on dodging, but he does not have iframes.
Yeah, he's the slowest. Yeah, he's bad.
So the slowest character fights electricity. Okay.
And he's the one you're supposed to play through first.
I mean, I think it's just a fun world. Like, the bosses are okay. There's not a lot of like story stuff to it. I really just think Stitch makes it for me.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun, and some of the navigation through the world can get kind of weird, but you can also like turn off gravity in some of the rooms, so it's kind of like you can just burn through it.
Well, I think that's fun. I don't think it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It helps.
It's not
it
demerit.
No, it balances out.
But I also can't really say what happens in those worlds either.
No,
Again, it's not very story important. It doesn't really fit into... All I know is Stitch. Like, Stitch meets Terra, gets inspiration for the star, makes the star, then helps him, and Aqua finishes it. But it's one of the most self-contained worlds in BBS.
Yeah, as much as I love Lilo and Stitch, this might be a C tier, just because, like...
Yeah, I agree.
I don't really think anything notable happens.
I kind of hope one day we do get Lilo and Stitch. Stitch has been 3 games. That's summons, but like... Because, like, Lilo and Stitch is, like, prime for that. Especially, like, if you go into the series with, like, all the other aliens.
Oh my god. Okay. Give me Kingdom Hearts 4. I want the Dalmatians gimmick from Kingdom Hearts 1, but with the experiments. And you can even make them, like almost like pseudo-boss fights for some of them.
Holy shit! It's like the frog in 3D. Some of the Dream Eaters, where you gotta fight them to get them.
Because you could do like a insane combination where like some of them you have to fight to like get them, or some of them you have different mini games.
Yeah.
Like all types. Like, oh my god, that would be chef's kiss.
And put the sandwich guy near the restaurant and just make the sandwiches.
Yes.
Nomura, hit me up, Nomura. When you see this, which I know you will, because it'll hit 1 billion views in a week. you gotta do that. Okay,
and imagine a summon gimmick where you get more powers based on what experiments you capture.
Ooh,
like certain ones will add to your like limit.
Or it's like the Dream Eater summon in 3, to where you have Stitch, but then for the final one, Stitch just summons all of them and you do a big fucking laser or some shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. See, Lilo Stitch is perfect for Kingdom Hearts. I don't know why they don't fucking do it. Whatever.
Yeah, they gotta add that in there.
All right, so Disney Town.
Okay. Points for Captain Justice and Captain Dark.
It's the only reason it's not F.
And the go-karts?
Only reason it's not F.
Hell yeah. The mini games go hard.
Just for the ice cream mini game, I would have put in F.
Okay, the ice cream mini game is abysmal.
It's so hard because there's a delay with the Bluetooth, so it's not perfectly on beat. You gotta memorize it. At least Atlantica, it was like slow enough to where it's like you can kind of get it just by looking at it. No, you gotta follow that fucking one. Not my tempo. Not my tempo.
I'm surprised I haven't seen any videos of people modding that. I know, like, I think the older games are like harder for people to mod, but I need somebody to mod that ice cream game so I can put any song I want in there.
Yeah, like Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Put fucking, what's a very inappropriate but really funny song to put in there? Just so I
put
can
like
edit it.
WAP on there, or put like put Through the Fire and the Flames on there.
My hand is sticky from this wet ass ice cream.
I don't know, because I know I had like Guitar Hero 5, and there was like a marketplace on there where people could upload and download songs that people custom make. Just make that, but for the ice cream game.
We're making. We're recording all this, thank God, because this is gold.
Yes.
All right, go to Disney.
And then we're gonna sell this.
Go to Square Enix. We're selling it. We're selling these ideas off.
Yeah, this is just practice for our pitch meeting.
Like when we eventually get a meeting with Nomura himself, even though we don't speak Japanese, and I don't think he speaks English.
No, but there's time to learn.